What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another amazing episode. Yes, it's me, Brian Adamson. Today, I get the honor of interviewing the one and only Mike Zuber. I'm poking and prodding to get his actual feedback from the event. We've gotten sound bites and bits and pieces, but I'm gonna do my very best to get him to open up as much as probably bringing him to tears. All right, so y'all help me out in the comments. So, Mike Zuber. My first question to you, first of all, congratulations on the amazing celebration, bro. Like, I don't know what you could have envisioned. I know I couldn't have envisioned what I saw, and I was just grateful to be a part of it, man. And from what I can understand, you were more than pleased with the outcome.
Yeah, I worked on it very hard. I had high expectations, and everything top to bottom exceeded expectations.
Wow.
The venue, the food, the structure, the format, the speakers, the audience, the weather. Lots of things out of my control crushed it. Lots of things in my control crushed it. Um, we gave stuff away to the speakers that I think shocked a lot of people that will create memories for years. I think the audience did what they were supposed to do and networked with each other and the speakers. None of the speakers were big timing it, no entourages. The audience was full of doers. I'm still on a high 7 days later, 8 days later. It's
Yeah,
pretty wild.
yeah, I totally get that. One of the questions that I have for you
Mhm.
is what's one thing that you were shocked by?
The one thing that I was shocked by, and it was something I couldn't control, was the audience.
Mm,
I have been to hundreds of conferences. I've been to 50 plus real estate conferences. And a lot of times the audience, it's just a hype fest.
mhm.
And everybody kind of clicks. They do their own thing. A lot of people leave after lunch. A lot of people don't participate. They don't network. They don't build friendships. That was a 2 day event. And day one, we went long. We went to like 8:30.
For sure.
And to see people come back at 8 a.m. in Vegas, come on now. That was bonkers to see them do that. Um, so uh I knew so I hope this lands.
Mhm.
I know my audience is special, but my audience went to another level in my mind because I only attract doers.
Yeah.
I don't attract haters, negative people. I don't attract shooting stars because what do I talk about? Do the work, be consistent. It sucks the first 5 years, fire your friends. I give it to you straight. So,
Yeah.
my tribe, my community, I have high expectations and man, blew me away. Blew me away.
Sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, as a participant and an observer, I'm still kind of speechless about the audience, right?
Yeah.
Mike, I do a lot of these as well, bro, on both sides of the fence. And to see the not only the level of commitment, but the level of compassion, the level of um, drive, determination, even those who took full advantage over asking questions. I know that seems like a small thing, but that's not a small thing, right? Like because the whole essence of the event was for them to drive the conversation. And so without them, the event isn't as fulfilling as it was. And so many people benefited from the quality, thoughtful questions that people asked. They didn't get up just to hear themselves talk. They legitimately wanted to know what was that next thing that could be the linchpin to move them forward. And so I was grateful for that as one of the speakers, and I was also grateful for that as an observer of the questions being asked.
Well, I got to tell you, that was a risky format. I've been trying to push this format for a while, and folks don't know what I'm talking about. This was not a pitch fest. This was not a PowerPoint fest. This was, hey, speakers get up. Let's talk about a topic for 15 or 20 minutes. And then people are going to line up and ask you questions. This was a celebration of 50,000. So I wanted to do everything I could to make it about the audience. Yes, the speakers were important. I wanted to celebrate the millionaire contributors. Yes, yes, yes. But it was the audience that got us to 50,000.
Yeah.
So I wanted the audience to drive the conversation, and it worked. And I will be doing that format again.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know that you're a personal nut kicker, as I am. And so I got to ask a difficult question, and I don't want to end on this question. So I'm going to insert this one here now.
Okay.
What was the thing you beat yourself up about? What did you feel like
Oh.
could have been better?
When I saw the line for lunch day one for general admission, I
Mhm.
was disappointed.
Okay.
We had 90 minutes for lunch, and I was tracking that line, and the folks at the end of the line really didn't get their food for about an hour. And again, remember, folks, I went to the blind center, which serves the visually impaired. We had visually impaired people taking lunch orders and delivering food, and it just takes more time.
Yeah.
They did everything they could. It was awesome. I will not do that again. I
Okay.
will feed everybody next time,
Okay.
like we did for the VIPs. That line will not happen again. And that was on me. I didn't think about that. That was on me. So that won't happen again.
Yeah. But I mean, it was birthed out of a great place, though, right? The
Yeah, oh
whole
yeah,
idea
yeah.
that you wanted to include the Blind Center, in as much as possible and as much as they wanted to participate in,
Hmm.
which I think everybody got. And that's another thing. Like, and I was in various circles. Nobody complained.
No, no.
Right.
And to be
And
clear,
just
yeah.
another testament to the crowd, right? I appreciate you taking ownership over it, but I think everyone understood where your heart was at as to why you structured it the way that you did.
Oh yeah. And to be clear, I talked to the last five people in line and they were all cool with it. To your point, the audience is amazing.
Yeah.
But as someone who is trying to squeeze as much value out of it,
Hmm.
it could have been used because one of the things that we're going to do next year is we're going to have 6 hours of networking.
Okay.
The VIP sessions crushed 6 hours of networking. I had to kick people out of the room to get back to the facility.
Mm.
General admission didn't really have 6 hours because it was, they were waiting in line doing this, doing that. So again, I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to make sure everybody's fed. So instead of taking an hour to get your food, it'll be 20 minutes because there's still lines, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just, it will go faster.
for
And
sure.
there will be multiple options. So we're going to divide people up. So you're going to have a hamburger station and a taco station. I'm going to spend more money is the
Hmm.
answer to the problem.
Hmm.
And people will have more networking time. So again, the audience didn't complain. I just took that as you got a little cheap, Zuber. You missed out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. Fair enough. Do the work, right? Action brings clarity. You don't know until you actually do these things, right?
Yeah.
So,
And let's be clear. Let's just one more point. One of the
mhm,
reasons I did it that way is I wanted to keep general admission as cheap as possible. I will promise you this general admission will not be $199 next year. Why? Because I have to feed you 3 times.
yeah, yeah,
That's not free,
yeah.
right? So,
Let's double click on that for a second because I like where you're going with this, right? Because oftentimes we we try to massage sales, right? Oftentimes because we don't want the recipient to think like, oh, we're trying to charge you, we're trying to sell you something. And I got a lot that I could go into about this, but it's one thing that I want to highlight most, what you just said. And while that's applicable to feeding people at a venue, it's also true when delivering services to people, right? So if you're in a good coaching program or a good environment to learn, it's going to cost you more because hopefully the person that's running that thing is using part of that fee that they collect to enhance your experience, to be able to help you further faster by bringing in other resources. If you charge a little, that's what's one of the reasons why people are frustrated with cheap things, is because that person don't have any margin. So you paid a little bit for it and you got a little bit in return because they don't have the bandwidth or the capacity to even bring in the additional resources that will probably be more valuable to you, right? Which is why I try not to do anything cheap, because I already know if my margins are killed, then I'm either work for free or they're going to have a poor experience, right? And
yeah,
so I'm glad that you highlighted that. That's an important part. And I think price is only an issue in the absence of value. Nobody has a problem with paying more, so as long as the value far exceeds that, which clearly it will in this case.
No, I agree with all that. And I've learned that the hard way, right? I sell lots of cheap things. Um, and sometimes people don't see value just because of the price point.
Mhm.
It's funny, right? My number one piece of advice that I get from coaches and mentors, people I trust, whether I'm paying them or not, is raise your freaking prices, you idiot.
Yeah.
Right? My main course, which is changing lives daily, is $3.99. It's stupid amount of stuff in that course.
Mhm.
And again, the number one piece of advice I get when I pay for coaching or getting for somebody I know is set it at $9.99.
Yeah.
Stop being, stupid, basically.
Yeah.
Sometimes with colorful language around it. Yeah, I get told that all the time.
So a couple of different things, right? Since we go in there, I'm gonna land the plane for you.
Okay.
So one, there's a scripture in Proverbs, right? Written by arguably the most wealthiest individual in the Bible, Solomon, King Solomon.
Okay.
And in the proverb, it says that the one who hoards the grain is cursed, but the one who sells the grain is blessed. So,
Mm.
so scripturally speaking, he told us over 2,000 years ago that the gatekeepers are not the ones that are celebrated, right? And not only that, that we're not just supposed to give everything away, but we're supposed to sell it because
Hmm.
without sales, there is no economy,
Right.
right? You know that as a sales guy, like without, if some entrepreneur didn't decide to go sell something to somebody, there wouldn't be any companies, there'd be no economy, right? So that's the first piece. So selling is not only a good idea, it's a God idea. We're supposed to do it.
Okay. Like it.
Coupled with that, we have to delineate between our community-based content and the things that we sell. You put out thousands of videos for free that's full of content that you could charge for.
Hmm.
That's your contribution for free stuff. Then over here, when I take a specific amount of time to curate this streamlined path of education that's going to help put you in a position to make money sooner with less headaches and mistakes, then I have to charge a premium for that. Because here's the thing. If you're the cheapest person, nobody believes you're the best anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I see it every day. You're right.
Right. So making things cheaper for the right buyer, it actually turns them off. I almost would think there's something wrong with it personally. Right.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not just go out and spend a bunch of money, but it is also that this is priced as such because clearly the person who's delivering it perceives the value in it. And they believe that this is how I price my products.
Mhm.
If if the person using it can get a 10x return in 12 months, then I price it at 1/10 of that.
Oh, there you go.
Right? That's my formula. So we've got $27,000 programs, we got $50,000 programs, we even got $100,000 program. And but I know if they take this and it's been proven, right, that they can 10x that investment. And so that's the way I back my way into it because I feel like, well, if you're getting a 10x return on this investment, you got the long end of the stick, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with that, right? But
Yeah.
but consciously, I'm aware that I'm charging something that I feel good about that I also can bring in additional resources to give you the best experience. But then you can take this and 10x it. Like I think that's a good gig for anybody.
I agree. Yeah, I like it. I like the framework.
Yeah. So lastly, because I did say we were going to end on a good note, and we will.
Ah, all right.
I want to know something that personally touches Uber, whether it was an interaction or two or both that weekend, something that personally was special to you.
So I had many kind of one-on-one 45-second conversations that hit, right? That I'll remember. But there was one that hit on the core thing that I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
I've been very clear since video number one that I'm working to create a legacy that outlives me 50 years after I'm dead.
Okay.
That's been my North Star 6 years ago. So Millennial Mike, upstairs, day two in the afternoon, pulls me aside and this is amazing, all those really glowing things. But then he got quiet and he's like, I got to tell you, you've changed my life, my son's life. He's a single dad. And the next line is what hit. He goes, "You're always going to be part of my story." So why did that hit for me? Folks, if you don't know, Millennial Mike's about 20 years younger than me. So it is very likely that Millennial Mike's going to live decades longer than me. And as I said in the beginning of this, my goal is 50 years. So if Millennial Mike is true to his word, and I know he will be, and if we could get his son to be part of this story, I am on the cusp of having my 50-year goal. Because if Millennial Mike's son is still talking about me when he's an old man, 50 years. That hit. That, and I don't even think he realized that hit, but that took my breath away.
That's big. That's big. That's big. Yeah, I could definitely see the reverence there. I mean, in the midst of everything going on, right? And that's why I was very specific in my question, because it's easy just to be caught up in all of this, but what was something that did this? And
Right.
again, I know there were many moments, but that's a big one, Mike, because you're seeing the manifestation of what your dream in real time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know he'll be faithful with that, because
Mhm.
I heard him say from the stage that if it wasn't for you connecting him with somebody in Indiana, he wouldn't even be investing remotely and have over a dozen properties right now.
Agreed. Yeah, I
So it's
know he will
happening
be.
in real time, bro. That's a big deal, man. That's a big
Yeah,
deal. I would
that was
like
good.
everybody watching this video to let us know in the comments, what was your special moment? Because I think everybody had one. I certainly had several that I just did not see coming after I was done speaking. And
Hmm.
the parts of my story that touched people were not the parts that I would have thought would have touched them. And so I'm grateful for that as well. And it was a really special event, Mike. I got to tell you from top to bottom, man.
I'm going to ask it anyway because but I think I know the answer anyway. You glad you came out? Because you didn't have to say yes.
Not only am I glad, I was honored when I got the invite. I was even more honored after being there and participating. It was electric, Mike. Like the quality of the people in the room, and not just talk about financial. I'm talking about like the heart of the people that were there. Nobody was too big to learn. Nope. It was amazing. It was infectious, and you should be proud that your sheep have heard your voice. You've established a phenomenal culture on your channel, and I look forward to just seeing where it continues to go.
You're going to bring the daughter next time?
It was interesting because my wife flew to Atlanta to be with her. She went to go get a German Shepherd, and so my wife drove 4 hours with her to go pick up this dog, and it was a whole thing. But yes, I'm gonna try to get the whole fam with me out there next time for sure.
I like it. I look forward to meeting them. Brian, you're amazing. Again, you're a big guy. You didn't have to say yes to this. You over delivered. You were there the full 2 days. You didn't cut out early. You took advantage of the podcast room. You are you're a man of your word, and you've just shown me who you are at your core, and I love it. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Mhm.